All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to this week's episode of the I Love Changing Lives show. And today I have a circle on a board and we have the words 2019 success. So, what does a circle have to do with your success in 2019? Well, if you want to find out, make sure you listen all the way through to this episode. Now, if you are listening to this on my podcast channel, I will do the best job I can to sort of give you a visual representation. Otherwise, maybe after you've listened to this episode in the car, jump on my website, jump on my YouTube channel, even my Facebook page, and you'll be able to watch this video again and maybe get a better idea. But I'll do the best I can to explain the whole thing. And what I'm going to do, a gift, I'm giving you guys a gift already in 2019, and it's going to be the gift of simplicity. Right? And why simplicity is such a great gift to receive is because we go to town to make things way more complicated than they need to be. We are bombarded with all of this information that just filters in throughout our day that ultimately distracts where our time, energy, and focus goes. Now, if you listen to my last episode, right, I broke down for you the biggest lessons that I learned in 2018. And one of those biggest lessons was really being able to protect my energy and focus along with my time. Like, time is valuable, but energy and focus is even more valuable, especially when you work out how to shut out the distractions and really channel that energy and focus, which is what we're gonna look at today. So, one of the things that I deal with on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis is helping entrepreneurs, one, grow themselves, but two, grow their businesses, focus on their marketing, create systems and processes, develop programs to be able to attract the clients they want and deliver the level of results and experience that they can to those clients. So looking at you and nothing else at this point, looking at you personally and what's going to be possible for you to achieve this year, I'm going to give you a framework, all right? This framework will seem like it is the most simple framework you've probably ever seen, but trust me, it'll be one of the most powerful frameworks you will ever use if you take it and implement it and focus on it the way that I'm about to break it down to you. So I'm gonna do the best job. There's a few reflections and stuff here, so hopefully you guys can see. I don't apologize for keeping things organic because to me, the values in the content, not on making everything look pretty. All right, what I want you to think about inside here, all right, inside your circle, all right, is what I would call your zone, all right, or you could call it your 5%, right? It is the series of tasks, activities, actions, thoughts, things that will create the greatest level of growth, success, impact, whatever it is that you are doing. Like, if we strip everything away inside this circle, inside your zone, those are the critical things, the critical 5% or the critical few things that you need to be doing every single day or in your life on a consistent basis to be able to achieve what you want. And that's great, right? But then once you get clear on what those things are, what's your process for getting better at that? What is your process for defining and also refining what is within your zone? What are you willing to allow to get into that area, and also getting clarity around which one of those things within the zone, all right, do you need to focus on the most? Which one or which activities or which things do you need to be doing more of in order to move forward or create what you want, learn what you want, everything else? All right, and there's 4 simple ways to make sure that you are able to stay in the zone and stay focused on the critical 5% of activities that are going to create the greatest level of results, success, and outcomes for you. We're gonna break down those 4 things right now. Number 1, like I said, it's gonna be simple, is you. All right? Number 2 is your health. And I'm gonna put /energy. All right? Number 3, your knowledge. And number 4, your wealth. Like I said, it's simple. Hopefully you can read that. Those of you listening to the podcast, basically, hopefully you understood what those 4 are. And the reason why these 4 things are so important when it comes to keeping you in your zone are these are the only 4 things that matter. So what do I mean? Well, when I talk about what matters, there are a whole range of things throughout your day to do with other people. There are a whole range of different things every day that try and take you away from what it is that you should be focused on. So how do you then go back to what is something that you should be focusing on and what will move that needle forward and help you create what you want? Well, this is the framework to be able to do that. And we're gonna break down each one of these now. So when it comes to you, all right, why is it so important that we start there? When you're looking at the level of success that you want, why do we start with you? Why aren't we talking about marketing? Why aren't we talking about different systems and tools? And you can use this YouTube thing to be able to do that. Why aren't we talking about that? All right, well, the reason is your level of success is going to be directly related to the level of growth that you are willing to experience and go through yourself. All right, I'm going to say that again and we'll relate it directly to business. The level of success your business will achieve has a direct correlation to the level of growth that you achieve or that you're willing to commit to. There is no way that you can achieve and then sustain a high level of success on a consistent basis if you haven't gone through a level of growth yourself, if you haven't failed, if you haven't learned lessons, if you haven't had perspective shifts, if you haven't had certain realizations by going through certain challenges and roadblocks and pain, sometimes loss, sometimes will give you the knowledge base that you need to be able to take on new challenges, to be able to see things that you didn't see in the beginning, right? And all of that starts here. And I find it very interesting that people want more wealth, right? I want more wealth and I want to be able to earn more. So they focus on earning more, but they're not focused on themselves. They're not focused on the health of their energy. So they're just trying to find money, but they're not channeling their energy and they don't even look after themselves from a health perspective. They're not adding their knowledge base. So they're not trying to find the best ways to create wealth or to arm themselves with more knowledge around a certain aspect of work or be able to do things related to their business or profit or systems or marketing or anything else. They're not adding to that knowledge bank to then be able to generate another level of growth. And I'll give you a perfect example. I work with a lot of coaches now in my new program. And these people have knowledge, right? So they have a certain level of knowledge. They have a fair idea on what they're passionate about. Depending on what they do will depend on whether or not they've done anything here. But a lot of them don't have the level of wealth that they want. So we dive into that a little bit more and we look at, well, why? And often it's because they don't value what they do. All right, so you want more wealth, you have a base amount of knowledge, but you don't value what you're worth. You don't charge what you want to charge because you don't value that. Well, where does that start? If you're looking at this, you know exactly where it starts. It starts with you. How the hell are you going to help other people value themselves if you don't value you? And how do you create a level of self-belief, self-worth, and self-value, if that's even a word, all right? If you don't spend time working on yourself, if you don't get rid of some of those limiting beliefs, if you don't spend the time to work out where that belief or that limitation or that thought ever even came from, and do I want to hold on to it and keep it there, or do I want to let it go because it's not serving me? It's not serving me in being able to create more wealth. All right, and that's why I love this process, because it is all interconnected, but it all works exactly this way around. From you need to have the level of health and energy it takes to sustain a level of focus to gain the knowledge you need to be able to create the level of wealth that you want, to be able to do the things that you want to do and have a level of fulfillment and freedom and space to work on you even more, right? Everything here is connected. And if you're looking at what stage you are in life or business, and you're looking at what you want to achieve this year, it's why I want to empower you with this process, because one, it's super simple, right? It's not even pretty. But two, it's extremely easy to be able to adopt. And that's what I want, hopefully. It's my aim and my intention from this video for you, is to be able to adopt this. So when we're looking at you, it's really starting with who it is that you are, what it is that you want, why you want it, and who do you need to become in the process. I know I went through those quickly, okay? Who is it that you are? Do you even know who you are? And do you have a great level of confidence around that? What is it that you even want? Like, what do you want? Right? For me, one of my highest values and one of the biggest things I want in my life is to help and impact as many people as I can. Why is that important to me? Which is the next one. What's your why? Why do you want it? Well, for me, it gives me a level of fulfillment, and I know that what I'm doing is impacting other people's lives. It's what I love. It's how I gain what I need to from what I do on a daily basis. That's my why, all right? So getting clear on all of these things will allow you to then move forward and focus on what you need to focus on to be able to gain the knowledge, to be able to create the wealth. So why does health and energy sit next? All right, well, what I can tell you, I have never is a broad word. I'll give you a better example. All right, I had a mentor once, and I share this in my book. So those of you who read my book, you've probably heard this story. He was like 10 out of 10 in every aspect of his life. And we went out to lunch. He was 350 pounds. And look, he was a big dude. Like, he was 6'5", I think he was even 6'6". Like, he was a big guy. But we were talking at lunch, and we had a good deep level of conversation. We were talking about where do we see each other, like right now? Where do you see yourself in every area of your life? And he said, look, I see myself for 10 out of 10 in every area of my life, but my health is like a 3. And I said, wow, that's really interesting. I said, what do you think the impact is with that one thing on every other aspect of your life? And he goes, well, look, because of how I feel about myself, my health, my weight, when I'm doing content videos and everything else, when I don't want to talk on stage. And this guy was a mentor to a lot of people. So it instantly brought down every other aspect of his life, right? And that's just from a health point of view. And again, it goes back to his self-worth, his self-confidence, and feeling like he was in line with what he wanted to do, right? That he could just go and do what he wanted to do without ever worrying about what people would think about him. And I'm not saying just because he was overweight, that's why he needed to be worried about it, but he was, all right? And he didn't have the energy. He needed to have naps in the afternoon. He was staying up till midnight and then sleeping until 11 o'clock. So his productivity was shit. It was terrible, right? He wasn't even able to keep up with the people he was working with, and it was starting to affect his business. He was forgetting things. He wasn't doing things he should have been doing. He was forgetting, certain people that he'd made promises to. Then people were getting pissed off, and it started to affect all of these other aspects of his life. And if you want to be able to have the level of focus it takes to create a new business or grow a business while you've got kids, while you've got another job, while you're doing other aspects, and you want to move to the next stage in your life and your business, how the hell are you going to do that if your health isn't a priority, number one, and if you don't have the energy to be able to take that other aspect on, to be able to work longer hours, to be able to, keep a level of energy and focus at a high level for longer periods of time, right? To be able to take in more knowledge than anybody else, all right? Or more knowledge than you're currently taking in, to be able to do more or something new, all right? That's why it sits here. And trust me, you will never, ever, and some of you might argue with me here, right? But you'll never feel your best if you're not taking care of these two things. You just won't, right? And that's why for me, it has to be second, because if that's affecting this, how do I even move on to the next phase? If I'm still caught up, not feeling my best because I'm not focused on this stuff, right? It all starts with you. For things to change first, I must change. And if I'm not the best version of me, how am I going to have the level of confidence that I need to help other people become the best versions of themselves, right? And I'll go on a little bit of a deviation here, but a lot of people that say they're comfortable in their skin. I was in the fitness industry for 22 years, right? We still run ladies only gyms. I have never met a single woman where that wasn't a fucking lie, all right? Like, they can tell it to your face, but they're crying inside. It becomes a justification. And I know that for a fact because I see how it holds them back from doing what they want, right? That I'm more comfortable than I've ever been, but yet you haven't grown. You haven't increased your knowledge, your wealth isn't growing, you don't have more energy, you're not taking on more, you're not achieving what you said you wanted to achieve, but yet you're comfortable in your skin. All right? You can see where I'm going here, right? At the end of the day, we've got to hold ourselves accountable to certain standards. Otherwise, how do we lift others up, right? How do we help them raise their standards if we don't raise ours? And that's why for me, that's why the first two things are the most important. Next one here, knowledge. All right? This whole entire process, right, is the driving force to keep you here. And that's what you have to understand, because everybody's coming at you from all of these different angles with all of these different things that you think you need to learn and do and everything else. How do you protect this? Well, you protect this by staying focused on these things, and that's it. Everything that you need sits within inside this framework. Everything that you need, right? Anything outside of here has to be your non-negotiable. Like, you're not going to go there. It's not even part of your world, right? And if it is, it's going to be a part of your world for a very small amount of time until you get back to this. Which leads us to number 3 here, your knowledge. If you want to achieve more, how are you going to achieve more with the same level of knowledge you have now? And I'm going to put a little caveat on that. If you have a certain amount of knowledge that you haven't implemented, okay, and it's just sitting in here, then for me, that's no better than never having the knowledge in the first place. All right, so that's my caveat on the whole thing. If you have the knowledge and you're not taking action on it, it goes back to here. Number 1, you're procrastinating, you're delaying, you're justifying and making excuses, and you're not taking action. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and let's say that you are implementing the level of knowledge that you have, all right, on a consistent basis. So for us to stay within this zone, how do we add to our knowledge? Like, what are you doing on a consistent basis to add to the level of knowledge that you have to keep you in the zone? This is a big one. I really want to help you guys get clear on this. There is so much information out there. It is mind-blowing and exciting at the same time. Like, you want to know something now? I mean, I can ask Siri and Siri's going to tell me the answer, right? Or point me in the right direction. Like, it's nuts. Like, those of you who are around who are old enough like me, pre-computer and pre-Google, and having to go to the library to find stuff out, like, it is crazy. I love it, right? But it's also the easiest time in the entire world to ever be distracted and go down all these random rabbit holes all the time when it comes to gaining knowledge. And what I want you to use as a filter to empower yourself with as a process is, what knowledge do I need? What specific knowledge do I need right now in order to move forward? Right? I have a whole Amazon list full of books that I would love to read. I still read 1 to 2 books every single week. But what I've had to do is I've had to put a really strict filter on that and only read and consume the content that is directly related to the activities inside my zone. Okay? Anything outside of that, cool. Would it be good to learn it? Yeah, 100%. And in time, if I decide I need to expand my zone or add that into my zone, cool, I'll go take on that knowledge. But right now, if it doesn't relate to what's in that zone, it's a distraction. I don't need it. It's why I don't read novels and I don't read fantasy books and everything else. I only listen to business books, systems, marketing. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes true stories, more just from the mindset point of view, right? Like I just love seeing what the human mind can achieve when it's directed the right way or when somebody discovers how to use it properly, right? Those are the things that are within my filter that are related to my zone, and my zone is directly related to being able to help other people achieve what they want. So I want to know for you, what's inside your zone when it comes to knowledge, and how are you consistently adding to that knowledge bank to help you become even more effective within your 5%. And what that really means is, are there certain things that I need to stay on top of? Like let's say right now, you're trying to grow a business, right? We're trying to grow a new program that we got going at the moment, right? And it's growing very nicely on a consistent basis. And if I just sat back now and go, cool, I've learned a marketing tactic and I've put it out there and it's working. It's working consistently. It's making profit. And that's it. That's where I stay. And I want to start earning more. How do I start earning more if I'm only willing to take the knowledge that I now know and then leave it there? I'm not adding to that knowledge. I'm not trying to learn new ways. I'm not refining the process. I'm not testing, measuring things to work out what is working, or maybe where the gap is and what do I need to learn to close that gap, to get a higher conversion rate, to get more of this, less of that. It all comes down to this. And if I can empower myself with the exact knowledge, the specific knowledge that I need to keep me in the zone and to keep me even more effective within the zone, all right? I'm going to have a much greater chance of being able to create the level of wealth that I want. Because as I build this knowledge base, it's going to provide me with more opportunities or more insights or potentially more strategies that are proving to be effective, right? Or that are getting us better results in a shorter amount of time, or from less ad spend, or being able to scale because we're learning things in terms of how to scale and still protect our numbers and our profit margins. And as a business, developing certain systems that allow me to create more freedom or optimize things, or bringing team members in and learning the best way to manage teams and hire good teams and optimize how well my team works and my culture. And all of those things here are related to keeping me in my zone. Because let's use the team as an example. If I learn how to create a great culture, hire good staff, and develop good staff to perform at high levels, right? And I'm actually listening to an audiobook at the moment by the lady who got hired by Netflix to create their I want to say client, but it's their team culture and hiring and firing and development process. So she created this whole thing, and I think it's called the Netflix slides or culture slides or something like that. You can find them online. And I haven't read them yet. I'm going to go and get them after I finish listening to her audiobook. But listening to her process and what she does and what she discovered, and when she got to Netflix, the culture was horrible, right? But for my example, if I can learn those things and develop a highly effective team, it allows me to stay even more focused in here, because I'm outsourcing stuff to team members knowing that they're going to be able to handle it maybe even better than me. And that's going to keep me focused on my critical 5% and the things within my zone to be able to create leverage and more wealth, right? To be able to then develop myself even more, to have more energy, to gain more knowledge, to gain more wealth, and to keep going round and around this process. And what I can tell you is that's exactly how this process works. And I'll give you a perfect example. When I started coaching people the very first time, and it's funny actually, one of those people is still working with me today. And they just hit me up, hey, can you help me with this? And I'm like, okay, cool, sure. And it was like, what do you want to charge? And I had no idea, right? I was still running other businesses myself. I'm like, I've never done this before. I had no idea on what I wanted or why I wanted it or why I wanted to do that and what it meant to me. I wasn't clear because I never thought about doing it. So I think I was charging like $100 a call, right? And then again, being able to do that and then staying focused on my health and my energy, being able to get a lot done in a small amount of time allowed me to have more time to potentially look at creating a coaching program, all right? To then also have the energy to be able to start tapping into the knowledge that I needed to try and develop a coaching program and learn what it took and how do I market it and how do I want to deliver it and what types of clients do I want and what do I want to charge and how am I going to help them get results, right? I needed to build that knowledge base to then look at, okay, how am I going to create money from this thing? How am I going to build wealth, right? And through this process, over time now, I charge a minimum of $1,000 a call. All right, like unless you've been a client of mine for years, you can't even get on a call with me for under $1,000. All right, and I'm not saying that to brag. What I'm saying that is it was all part of this process, right? I got clear on what I wanted. I put my energy towards the knowledge I needed to gain to increase my value and my wealth, and then to keep me inside the zone, which I've explained to you guys a few times now. My zone is helping other people get great results, helping them grow, helping them develop and create what it is that they want. And it all becomes part of a process. So when you're looking at your knowledge, put that filter on it. What specific knowledge do I need to become more effective at the tasks inside my zone? How do I become a better leader? How do I become a better business owner? How do I become a better marketer? How do I become a better boss, right? Potentially. How do I become a better partner? How do I become whatever's inside your zone, which is related to the things that are most important and are going to help you move forward within your life, within your business? How do you gain the specific knowledge? And are you clear on what specific knowledge you do need to gain to stay in there and to become more effective within that zone? I hope that makes sense. Wealth, it's pretty straightforward, right? The one area that I see most people, I guess, I don't want to say go wrong, but sometimes maybe not have the clarity around when it comes to wealth is they just set a number. Like they just pull a random number. I'm going to earn $1 million this year. Okay, cool. That's great. How? Right? Like how? Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to sign up this many people a month and they're going to pay me this much money and then I'm going to help them with this. Okay, cool. How are you going to sign up that many people a month? Well, I'm going to run Facebook ads. Okay, cool. How many leads do you need? Do you know what your conversion percentage is? Do you know how many people it takes or what you need to spend to get enough leads to then be able to get enough people on the phone or in for a consultation or into your program to be able to generate that level of income or those level of sales on a monthly basis? And then you hear silence. There's like no answer on the end of that phone. And the reason being is because it was a wish. It was a wish. It wasn't a vision, right? Like you want to do something, fucking build it. Like build it, right? It's one of the things that I have within our 8-week program. It's a complete exercise where these guys, even before they have a business, they need to build the entire thing. They need to see it from the end vision all the way through. How many staff, price points, what do you deliver? How does the business operate and run? And what are you doing on a daily and a weekly basis within that business? What does your role look like? What do you guys do and what do you provide? And what is the experience like for your team and your clients? And what is the culture like? What values do you have as a business, right? All of those different aspects, build it. It's the same thing when it comes to wealth. If you want to create a certain level of income and hopefully a certain level of profit, right? Because income's great, but it doesn't mean jack if there's no money left over in the bank. All right, but build it. Go get yourself a yearly planner, all right? It's not hard, right? We've got ours right there. Create a yearly planner, map out the entire year, set income goals, all right? Those of you who are clients of mine, you've got your success scoreboard. We map out the whole minimum 6 to 12 months. We map it out. We set targets based on tangible data, based on things that we know, hey, if we hit that and that and that and that, then that will help us achieve that outcome. And if we want to grow to the next level, then we've got to hit these numbers or we've got to hit these targets or we've got to be able to achieve these things, right? You want to achieve more health, wealth, you want to lose weight, you want to feel better, you want to create an awesome relationship. It's the same thing. Build it exactly how you want it to be and work back from that, right? Like if I can see my business in 12 months time, right? What is the income level? What does it look like? Okay, cool. Now let's build it back from that. What do I need to have in place? What do we need to achieve? What do we need to create? Who do we need to hire? What does that whole thing look like? And then start driving towards that vision for your business, for your wealth, for your relationship, everything here. I'm just using that whole framework as context because 90% of business owners are reactive, right? And again, if I'm reactive, where does that fit within this? If I'm reacting to something, then I don't have the perspective I need. So it takes me out of this. Takes me out of this process and I'm off here and I'm frustrated and I'm overwhelmed and I'm pissed off and I'm thinking about other people and why they did that or said that and everything else. I'm not here, right? I'm not. And that's what you got to look at. When I say we're reactive, like, oh shit, I've got too many clients, I need a trainer, right? Or oh damn, I've been making money for 6 months and I didn't put any away and now tax is due, right? Like we don't think ahead. We don't build things out based on what we want to create. We react to things based on what happens now. Or when the shit hits the fan, then you're, damn, I should have done this. And I'm not saying that I haven't been there before, I have. But what I want to empower you guys with is a process to create the level of success that you want. And when you're looking at wealth particularly, break it down, all right? Don't wish for it. If you can't see it and I can't tangibly go after specific things on a weekly and a monthly basis that I know if I hit those things or create those things or do those things, I'm going to achieve this outcome or at least get one step closer to it, then it is a wish, all right? It is not a plan, all right? And the whole reason why it sits here as part of the process is when I am able to start creating the level of wealth I want, that then provides me with the level of freedom that I needed to either, focus more on what I need to for the business, outsource the operations and get back to the creation, develop my program, develop my brand, develop my messaging, develop the team environment and processes and systems and marketing and everything else, right? Because I'm not protecting my wealth at this point, right? Or I'm not just reacting to where things are. I've now been able to, throughout this process, create what I want to keep me in this zone, right? And the best way I can describe that to you guys is that when you are in a state where you're so focused and concentrated on what you're doing that you almost tune out the outside world. But you get a text message on your phone. Oh shit, so-and-so just called and we owe 15 grand by next week, all right? It's an extreme example, okay? So stay with me here. What happens to you at that point? How well do you think you stay within that zone? You don't. You know you don't. You go into panic mode. You start freaking out. You start looking at numbers and going to bank statements and looking at where you can potentially get loans, or you work out how you're going to close the gap, and then you get pissed off with your partner because they don't understand and they're not doing it with you, and then your partner gets pissed off because you're being pessimistic and negative, and then are you in here anymore? All right? And that's what I'm saying. I want to empower you with a process. And by being able to hit those wealth targets, because it allows you to stay in here more, which allows you to keep this process going. And the more that this process goes and the more speed it gains and the quicker you go round and round and round it, the bigger and the more effective that gets, right? And the quicker you're going to grow as a person, the more energy you're going to have, the healthier you're going to be, and the more confidence you're going to have in yourself. Your knowledge base, you're going to know things that right now you didn't even know those things existed. All right? Like, my head is full of so much stuff that if you would have asked me 10 years ago about this stuff, well, technology-wise, it didn't even exist 10 years ago. So it's crazy what can happen in a short amount of time if you can focus in and then you create a process to allow you to stay within that focus, to empower you to get better and better and better and better, right? And it's one of my favorite quotes and analogies, but Bruce Lee said he didn't fear the man who knew 10,000 kicks. He fears the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. And I love that so much, because if I can leave you with one thing for this year, less is more, and less done consistently will deliver you much greater results than more done inconsistently. And I really want you to take that on board and have a look at everything that you've got going on right now. Break down this process and make it your own. Have a look and write down the things that are related to you right now. Like, where do you need to grow right now? Where is your health and energy right now? Where's your knowledge? Where's your wealth? And at the very least, make it a practical exercise. Like, where would you say? Are you an 8 out of 10? All right, your health and energy, maybe you're a 9 out of 10, or maybe you're a 3 out of 10, right? My knowledge in relation to what's gonna help me stand here, maybe I'm a 6 out of 10. My wealth right now, maybe I'm a 5 out of 10. All right, at the very least, score yourself, because it becomes non-emotional. It's now tangible. What do I now need to do to go from 8 to a 10, or from a 3 to a 10, or a 6 to a 10, or a 5 to a 10? What do I need to do to move forward in this process to stay inside my zone, and to get better at it and better at it and better at it, and to practice that one kick 10,000 times, right? Until you master it. And that's the last thing I'm gonna leave you with today. Nothing ever creeps into this zone until you've mastered what's in it. I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm doing really, really well with Facebook ads, right? And consistently increasing what I'm spending on a monthly basis. And I'm learning things and testing things that, if I'm honest, I avoided doing for a long time because I didn't want to do it. Now that I am doing it, I'm almost engrossed in it, right? Because I made it part of my zone. For a while there, I was also doing Instagram. I was also doing YouTube. I was also learning about e-commerce and shit like that, right? Like, I've completely cut that stuff out right now. I'm not learning any of it. Like, if this video goes on YouTube, it's because my admin puts it on there, right? I'm not even going in there. I don't even touch it. And the reason being is, right now, I want to master what I'm doing. I want to know every aspect of it. I want to practice it 10,000 times. Right? And it goes back to that book, The Outliners. If you haven't read that, putting in 10,000 hours into something until you've mastered it. Once I've mastered these things and I've got predictability and scalability within it, and dependable and reliant, consistent results. I don't love the word dependable, but when it comes to scale and growth, it's a critical aspect. Being able to predict the level of growth I can achieve. Once I've nailed that with Facebook, I will go to YouTube again. I love YouTube, right? For me, YouTube, one, it's the second biggest search engine, owned by the biggest search engine. Right now, I think there's 4 billion people online, and in the next 2 years, there'll be another 2.8 billion people going online, right? If you don't have information on the 2 biggest search engines in the world, that's an opportunity lost in my book. But it's not in my zone right now. And that's what I want you to do with yourselves. Until you've achieved mastery in what it is that you're trying to generate more success in, until you've nailed each of these things and you're a 10 out of 10, and then now that you're a 10 out of 10, let's create a new 10. So you go back to being an 8, right? Like, again, I've raised that standard. I've got to a different level of mastery. Where do I go next, right? Always be climbing that mountain, right? And then when you get to the top, find a bigger mountain, and always be pushing yourself, because that's where you're gonna gain knowledge. That's where you're gonna find new energy. You're gonna create unlimited and exponential growth when it comes to wealth. And then you as a person are gonna drastically transform, all right, which is exciting. So again, I really hope that I've empowered you with a process here more than everything to simplify things, right? There's 4 things you need to be focused on once you get clear on what's inside your zone. So action steps. Get clear on what your critical 5% of things are that are going to create the level of results that you want to achieve. Like, what are those actions? What are those activities? What are those aspects of your life or your business that you need to be focused on? And don't add it into a to-do list. It should be like 3 to 5 things max. 2, even better. All right, for me, the only thing in my zone right now is growth. That's it. Like, if I had to write one thing in here, it's growth. All right, everything is related to that for me. For my students, for our businesses, for my kids, for me personally, everything is related to growth right now. All right, everything I'm doing is in here. All my activities and everything are focused around that. So what is it for you? And then what do you need to do to start running this process on a consistent basis? All right, and again, like I said, action steps. Get clear on this. Rank yourself on those things. Work out the practical steps you need to take to improve to the next level. And if you get to a 10 out of 10, what does the next 10 out of 10 look like? Or what's the next level? What's the next stage that you need to go to? All right, and then this becomes your process on a daily basis. And if you want to know whether or not you're in line with it, check yourself for how many times you've reacted to other people's bullshit this week, right? How many times has other people's stuff dictated what you spent your time, energy, and focus on? Did you spend your entire week on other people's stuff? Or did you spend your entire week inside your zone and focused on the things that are going to help you be even more effective within that zone? All right? That's me for today. I appreciate all of you. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, click in somewhere here. All right, click the little bell button. I post these videos once a week, so you'll be able to get a notification when this comes out if you're on your Facebook page or inside any of my groups. All right, just comment below. Let me know what you gained from this. Maybe even share with me what's inside your zone right now. And I hope, as always, you got value from this, and I look forward to seeing you next week.